What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today, I'm out here on this beautiful trail. Looks like it's gonna rain, but I don't think it's going to. But I wanted to talk a little bit about my CD account. A couple of months ago, I opened up a CD account. It's my first time in my life ever doing this, and I wanted to explain exactly what this account is all about, why I opened it up, and what my plans are moving forward. We're gonna get into it, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for daily videos. Subscribe to my second channel for bonus videos. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel. Try out some G Fuel energy formula, $5 off your first order by clicking the link in the description. Over 50 different flavors to choose from. This one is snow cone, perfect for the summer. It's absolutely delicious. And of course, make sure to go and get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account. Even as little as a penny will get you your up to 12 free fractional shares. It still works, it still counts, I know, because that's what I did. And every month they have a promo going on. This month's promo is if you refer 6 friends by the end of the month, Webull's going to give you $1,000 cash to invest however you want. And if you only refer 1 friend, you're still going to get 20. 2 friends, you're going to get 40. 3 friends, you're going to get 60. 4 friends, you're going to get 100. 5 friends, you're going to get 300. And 6 friends, you're going to get 480 for a grand total of $1,000. Webull link in the description. Time is running out. You only have about half a month left to do this. Webull link in the description. Everything is linked in the description. Don't pass up on an opportunity. All right, so today I wanted to talk about my CD account. What is it? Why did I open up the account? What are my goals? And when the account matures, what I plan on doing with the currency. All right, so let's get to it. First things first is I guess we can talk a little bit about what a CD account is, what its purpose is, and what CD even stands for. So for those of you who do not know, CD stands for Certificate of Deposit, and what the account is, essentially, in simple terms, it's a way of locking up a certain amount of cash or a specific amount of cash for a specific amount of time with a guaranteed specific amount of interest. So a lot of people will take thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and they will park it in a CD account for a couple of years for, I don't know, 3%, 4%, whatever. That way, it could be a little bit better than a savings account where interest rates fluctuate. They go up and down depending on what the economy is doing. A CD account guarantees a very specific APY, a very specific interest rate on the account. That's the plus side. The downside is that your currency is locked into this account for the specific amount of time that you agreed on. You can withdraw it early, but there's an early withdrawal fee, just like, a lot of things. But the CD account I went with, now I'm not going to be sharing what bank I used for this CD account. Very similar to my savings account video that I just posted a couple of days ago. You can do a very quick Google search. It's one of the biggest banks, one of the most popular banks. Just do a quick Google search with the numbers that I share and you'll figure it out in no time. So, the CD account that I went with, an unnamed bank for the video, because I don't want to, encourage people to, I don't want to, promote one of these big banks. Big, oh, you should go with them, you should do this, savings account, CD account, put your money here. Nope. But the CD account that I went with, and I caught this on the last day that they were offering it. I remember I was laying down. I was like, man, I got to get up for work at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was laying down, and for some strange reason, it popped up into my head. I was like, hey, remember somebody mentioned a CD account one time? And I had looked into it in the past, and I understood what it was, but it just out of curiosity, I was like, I wonder who's offering, a solid, CD account at this time. So I looked into it, and the same bank that I use for a savings account has a variety of different CD accounts you can go with. Well, it's the same, pretty much the same CD account, but different lengths of time to lock up your cash for, with different, APYs that you can choose from, and you just figure out what makes the most sense for you. Like I said, a lot of people will go with one. It's like an 18-month or a 24-month or a 36-month. You can lock it up for like several years if that's what you want to do. Like 3, 4, 5, 6 years, I believe. The one I went with, because I looked into it, I looked it up that night, and I caught it on the very last day. So I don't know how I timed that right. It was just purely by coincidence. But one of the ones that they were offering for a limited time, and I caught it on the last day, was an 11-month account, an 11-month run, 5% APY. I had never heard of one with such a high interest rate before. And with everything going on these last couple of months, with rates being as high as they were, and with me only having 1 day left, I figured, you know what? It can't hurt. Worst case scenario, this particular account is only for 11 months. So I lock up a little bit of currency for less than a year and generate 5% APY on it. Now, a mistake that I had made was that I was under the impression that all CD accounts you can make more contributions to other than the initial deposit, because some CD accounts you can. I was under the impression that all CD accounts you were able to do this. And this particular CD account, I don't have that option. So I didn't put the largest amount of currency in as my initial deposit. And hindsight's 2020, I wish that I realized that ahead of time, because I would have put more in. Only 11 months. Wouldn't have hurt me that bad to lock up a larger amount of currency for 11 months, but it is what it is. That's one mistake that I made. I was under the impression that you kind of like a savings account, you could add more, you just couldn't take it out without a penalty. But no, the CD account that I use, locked up for 11 months. You can withdraw it early for a penalty, so it's not, it's not like you have absolutely no access to it. But the agreement to lock it up for 11 months, 5% APY. And I caught this on the last day, so I hopped on the opportunity. Now, oh, and I can also show you. I have a screenshot. Let me just get myself situated here. Now, when a CD account hits its maturity date, you have two options. Now, let me show you what it looks like first. So it's a savings account. Here's my CD account. I have specific dollar amounts blocked out because I don't believe it's a good idea to share how much money you make, how much money you save, how much money you invest, or how much money you lose. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think you should be sharing the intricate details of your personal finance business. It's your own financial business, not anyone else's. But you can see 5% APY up there at the top right, APY 5%, and the term, 11 months. Maturity date, February 14th, 2024. I opened this account in March 2023, so I guess probably March 14th if I had to assume. Probably a safe bet. But it's an 11-month term. February of 2024, February of next year, will be the maturity date. And like I said, when a CD account hits its maturity date, whether it's 11 months, which isn't typical, but that's mine, whether it's 1 year, a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, you have two options when you hit that maturity date. You can either take all of your locked up cash back, no penalty, plus the interest that it generated, so you're walking away with more than what you started with, and you can do whatever you want with it. a year or maybe a couple years have gone by and you locked up your cash for that amount of time, you generated some interest income. It pays monthly, by the way. And you can do whatever it is that you want to do with that currency. You can transfer it over to a savings account. You can go and spend it on something that you've been wanting to buy. You can invest it. It's your currency to do whatever you want with. Minus the interest income tax, of course. But that's one of two options. When you hit the maturity date, you can withdraw all the funds, your initial deposit plus all of the interest it generated. The second option is you can roll it on into a new CD with a new term with a new APY, assuming that APYs are different at that point. Now I can show you, I believe I can show you at least, once I get on over here, there's a nice little hiding spot over here with a bench. So I'll come on over here, and I didn't think to take a screenshot of this, but I'll just sign into my account. I have the app on my phone. You can go with a couple of different options. Like I said, you can withdraw all the funds and do whatever you want with the cash, or you can roll it on into a new CD. Now, like I said, mine was a limited offer, 11 months at 5%, but you can go with, so let's just say it's February 2024. I hit my maturity date and I move into, and I choose to roll it on into a new CD. Bear with me, I'm looking right here, open a new account. I'm not gonna actually do it, I'm just gonna show you what it looks like. Saving and checking, go down to CD. Okay, I can show you what these look like. At the moment, and I'm sure it'll be different, February 2024, I'm sure the numbers will be not the same as what I'm showing you right here, as soon as I can get it to focus. Assuming that I can get it to focus. I have an idea. Zoom in. All right, bear with me here. I wasn't planning on doing this exactly, but... All right, let me just read you the numbers while I'm trying to get it to focus. That way we don't waste time over here. So I could roll into, there we go, a 6-month term at 3.9%, a 9-month term at 3.9%, a 12 or 18-month term at 4.75%, a 24, 30, or 36-month term at 4.3%, a 48-month term for 4.2%, or a 60-month term for 4.1%. So let's just say I hit the maturity date today. What I would go with, just by looking at this, I would probably go with a 12-month term at 4.75. That's the highest APY that they have to offer with the shortest amount of time served. I only show you that just so you can get an idea. I wasn't planning on signing in and showing you all the different CD terms and APYs and whatnot, but just for reference, just to paint a picture. That's what I can go with. So at the moment, I would probably go with the 12-month term, because I already did 11, when I hit my maturity date, I will have already done 11 months. What's another 12 more? What's the difference, really? It's off by a month. This time around for 4.75%, not too much lower than 5%, so I think that's the next best option. I don't want to lock up the currency for years and years and years on end. I could never really see myself going for a 60-month term. I don't have that kind of time. But some people might look at it and be like, all right, by the time 60 months have gone by, the economy is going to be in a completely different place. Interest rates are bound to get slashed, far sooner than 60 months from now. So let me lock in that 4.1% now. That way maybe 6 months or 12 months or 18 months go by interest rates are a lot lower than 4.1%, but I'm still generating 4.1%. That's the logic there. That's what some people go with. Now, I personally wouldn't want to do that because I believe I can earn more than 4.1%, maybe not with a CD account over the course of 60 months. I prefer to go with index funds, and I like to invest. And like I said in the intro of the video, you can download Webull and fund your account. They're going to give you up to 12 free fractional shares just for doing that. Any amount works, even as little as a penny, and if you refer 6 friends by the end of the month, they're going to give you $1,000 cash. 20 for your first, 40 for your second, 60 for your third, 100 for your fourth, 300 for your fifth, and 480 for your sixth, for a grand total of $1,000. You only have a couple of weeks left to do this, so make sure to download Webull, fund your account, refer a couple of friends to the app, and get your cash. It's part of their advertising budget, rather than wasting dollars on TV commercials and billboards and stuff like that nobody pays attention to anymore. Anyway, they reward the user for helping build their app with them. Webull link in the description. And if you want to try out some G Fuel Energy Formula, the link to that will be in the description as well. $5 off first order by clicking the link in the description. Over 50 different flavors to choose from. Okay, so what I prefer to do with my currency is I like to funnel it into my Roth IRA. I make a weekly contribution every single week. As soon as it's payday, which I know this might sound weird, but you know, my direct deposit hits on Tuesday night, and the funds settle by, you know, Wednesday morning. The cash is there. Everybody's like, oh yeah, Friday, it's payday. And I'm like, all right, Tuesday evening. It's weird, but that's just when I get paid for whatever reason. So every week I make a contribution to my Roth IRA, a tax-advantaged retirement account. And I also make a weekly contribution to my regular dividend income investing account, where I go with 2 different index funds, and also from time to time I'll buy the dip on individual stock, but I think index funds are definitely the way to go. The S&P has an average annual rate of return of 8% adjusted for inflation. So without factoring in inflation on a typical year, it's closer to 10%, 10, maybe 11%. But if you factor in inflation, 8%. With a dividend yield of roughly 1.5%. So you're growing by 8% a year on average and being paid 1.5%, which is very similar to, you know, interest income, but in this case it'd be dividend income. It's lower than what my savings account, which is 4%, and my CD account, which is 5%, is paying me, but it's also growing by an average of 8% a year adjusted for inflation. Not bad. I like that a whole lot better than interest income. I like that a whole lot better than savings accounts and CD accounts. But the reason I opened up a CD account was just simply to diversify. I wanted to try it out. I wanted to see what it was all about. I wanted to be able to make a video like this and explain what a CD account is and why I opened up one, and how my experience has been so far. So I opened up mine in March. Here we are about 3 months later. I've generated a little bit. Like I said, my initial deposit was not nearly as much as it could have been or should have been. Like I said, I was under the impression that I could make I could just keep on contributing to it. I just couldn't take away from it. But no, it's locked in there, and your initial deposit is the only deposit for my particular CD account. That is, some allow you to keep adding more. Oh, but by the way, if and when I choose to roll into a new CD, new term, new everything, you can add more funds at that point. I think that's where my mix-up was. I knew that you could add more. I just didn't realize that I had to wait until the maturity date and roll into a new account. Then, let's just say your initial deposit was $100. You gotta wait, 11 months or however long the term is. You hit that maturity date, you can roll over your initial $100 plus the interest it generated plus any other dollar amount that you have access to into a new CD account with a new term and probably a new APY. So that's what I'm going to do. I believe that's what I'm going to do. Right now I also make weekly contributions to my savings account, And I made a savings account video just a couple minutes before I started recording this video. I posted it a couple days ago. So if you haven't seen that, you can go watch that if you'd like. Or listen to it, I should say. My videos aren't really anything to watch necessarily. There's not a whole lot to look at, unless you want to basically go on a walk with me and look at the trail that I'm on and the woods and everything. It's, beautiful scenery, but I'm not really showing very much on screen. Except for a deer. There we go. But yeah, my videos are more so audio focused. So there's something to listen to, like the radio or a podcast or something like that. Like, a lot of people, they see these videos and be like, oh my God, it's 20 minutes or it's 30 minutes or it's an hour and a half long. I'm not going to watch that whole thing. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to listen to it while you're driving to work or while you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. That's how the video should be consumed. But anyway, in that video, I talked about multiple different accounts that I put money in, multiple different accounts. I completely forgot about my CD account, and I had that written down on my phone that it was going to be the next video that I make after that one. I didn't even reference my CD account in that video. I completely forgot about it until it was time to film the next video. I was like, I forgot to even mention it. And in that video, I talked about how I don't know at this time what my savings account goal is. I had a goal originally. I kind of changed my mind about that goal because, I transferred for my job and, there's a lot more driving involved, and I wanted to buy a cargo van, but I don't think a cargo van would really be the smartest thing to be driving to and from work when I'm driving as far as I am. So I changed my mind about that. And but that was the reason I opened up a savings account in the first place. But now that my savings account goal has been scrapped and I still have the savings account, I was like, well, what exactly am I saving up for now? Because I believe a savings account should really only be used for the short term, especially while rates are high, which is where they are right now. I'm getting 4% on my savings account, and I'm making weekly contributions to it for a reason or for a goal that I don't know. I don't know what the goal is just yet. Right now, I'm just parking cash in there until I decide what the best move is for me. But moving away from the savings account, back to the CD account, which is what this video is supposed to be about, when I hit my maturity date, there's a pretty solid chance that I take some currency from that savings account and use it to roll into the new CD account. Because like I said, I didn't have the largest initial deposit in my CD account, and it's set at that. I can't add more to it until the maturity date when I roll into a new account. So there's a chance that if I still don't have a very specific goal on what I want to do with the savings account, I might actually take from it and use it for my next CD account, my next term with a new CD account. That's an option right there. I don't know if that's exactly what I'm going to do, but it's an idea. It's something that I can do. It's something that, it's just another option. So with the CD account, locking up a specific amount of money for a specific amount of time for a specific guaranteed interest rate, especially during times like these where things have been pretty rocky to say the least. The ground has been pretty shaky for the last, 2 years? Year and a half or whatever. Thankfully, for the last, I believe, 9 or maybe even 10 months, inflation has been on a consistent decline. We've seen a decline every single month for the last 9, maybe 10 months. And by the time this video comes out, maybe the next inflation report will have already been released. I don't know when this video is coming out exactly, but sometime mid-June, I believe. Fortunately, we are moving in the right direction. Not as quickly as we should be, but, at least we're moving in the right direction. The economy's picking back up a little bit. Inflation's coming down a little bit. Good news. And interest rates have been high. Now, a lot of people didn't like this. A lot of people didn't want this. Now, it's what we had to do to combat inflation, but a lot of people were hesitant about that because, number one, it could, if you raise rates too fast or too aggressively, it could have a negative impact. But also, people wanted to continuing borrowing money for free or borrowing money for cheap. With rates going up, it makes borrowing money more expensive. But you want to know what it also means? It means that savings accounts, the interest rate on savings accounts go up. It means the interest rates on CD accounts go up. So, the blessing in disguise is that, sure, if you want to take out a loan and get yourself a rental property to generate some rental income, some passive, active income, I like to call it, because real estate is not passive income. It's very, very hands-on. The mortgage rates would be higher, which makes it a little bit more financially painful. If you're someone that likes to rack up a whole bunch of credit card debt, or as I like to call it, self-inflicted consumer debt, interest rates were going higher on credit cards. So that, causes a little bit of financial pain as well. Interest rates in a lot of different areas going up is perceived as a bad thing. And if you're, investing or borrowing in those realms, it makes it more expensive for you. But if you're someone who wants to use a CD account or a savings account for something short term, if you're just saving up for something, maybe you're saving up to buy a house, and while rates are high, you are taking advantage of the high interest rate on that savings account while you save up for a small house. And maybe, just maybe, by the time rates go down or rates get completely slashed, maybe, since you're not going to be generating any of that interest or much of that interest income anymore, maybe it's time to get that house. Maybe it's time to use the money that you've been saving and racking up that high APY on the savings account or the CD account, which you're no longer making. But now it's time to jump in and get a mortgage at a lower interest rate. So you take advantage of the high interest rates while you're waiting for interest rates to get slashed, and then you jump into a mortgage or a business loan or whatever it is that you're trying to do for a lower interest rate now that you're not making the high interest rate on your savings account anymore. Does that make sense? You're saving while rates are high, and then you're using the money that you saved and then borrow when rates are low, and you lock in a low rate. And if rates go down, even refinance, there's a lot of different ways you can go. I hope I'm explaining that right. I hope I'm painting a picture while you're watching, aka listening to this video. But that's basically an option right there. Now, am I using the savings account and my CD account to save up for real estate, to save up for a small, modest house, maybe a rental property, or maybe something that I can move into? Because I don't currently own real estate. I do not own where I live. And that was a goal. That's still a goal of mine. That's my end goal, to get into real estate. And I would absolutely 100% like to eventually buy a small, modest size house with a decent amount of land and live there. But right now, I prefer to run lean. I prefer to keep my expenses at the very, very, very bare minimum. I figured out what the bare minimum is, and then I tried to lower it even more. I was like, how can I be even more frugal, even if it's just by a couple dollars? Because a couple dollars saved is a couple dollars earned, and a couple dollars earned could be a couple dollars invested, which means a couple dollars earned even more. See, that's why I'm using these different accounts. That's why I'm using a Roth IRA. That's for my retirement. That's why I'm using a regular stock, investing account like Webull. Download it, fund your account, up to 12 free fractional shares just for doing so. And if you refer 6 friends, they're going to give you $1,000 cash to invest however you want. If you refer less than 6 friends, they're still going to give you currency to invest however you want, but 6 gets you the maximum of $1,000. We will link in the description. But I have different accounts for different reasons. I have different goals. or I have different goals with different accounts, but my end goal, my ultimate goal, it all kind of ties together. And so far, so good. I've been doing things the way that I've been doing things for, at this point, 4 years, or 3 going on 4 years. I think September will mark 4 years, if my math is correct. Correct. So far, so good. My 3 going on 4 years of investing has been incredible. I've had a great run so far, and I plan on continuing to keep running. But I have a couple different accounts for a couple different reasons. My Roth IRA, which I'm working on maxing out for the first time. I've only had the account for 2 years. The year prior, I was only making monthly contributions, and I did not max it out. My goal wasn't even to max it out. I just wanted to make monthly contributions. This year, I'm making enough contributions so that I will max it out by the end of the year. If I contribute enough weekly, every single week, by the end of the year, I will hit the maximum contribution limit for the year. That right there is something that I plan on continuing to do every single year for the next couple of decades, and that's for my retirement. I'm investing dollars that have already been taxed into this account so that the growth and that the dividend income will be tax-free. Hang on. So that the growth, the capital gains, and the dividend income that was generated, I can withdraw completely tax-free. Pay a total tax of $0 or 0.0000000%. Tax-free, completely tax-free. Because I already paid taxes on the dollars before I invested them. 401k is the opposite. You're investing dollars that haven't been taxed yet, and it's tax advantaged. It's deferred until after you hit the retirement age and choose to withdraw. Then you pay taxes later on. But you have a larger amount going in because it was dollars before that they were taxed. So more dollars going in leads to speeding up the process of the ball getting rolling in. I've explained this before. Roth IRAs, post-tax dollars being invested, and then you pay taxes later on, versus a Roth IRA, you're investing, or I'm sorry, did I say, oh man, I screwed that up, didn't I? A 401k is investing pre-taxed dollars that have not been taxed yet, and later on down the road, you pay taxes then. A Roth IRA is investing dollars that have already been taxed, post-tax dollars, and then later on down the road, when you hit the retirement age, you can withdraw completely tax-free. Both have their advantages. Both are great for different reasons. I currently only have a Roth IRA, and when I hit a year at my company, I will become eligible to start making contributions to a 401k, which I fully intend on doing. So I'll have both. 2 different types of retirement accounts. One on my own, and one through them. But those 2 will be strictly for retirement. Something else that I make contributions to is my regular dividend growth or dividend income investing portfolio, which is, for the most part, focusing on 2 index funds with a handful of individual stocks and reinvesting dividends and growing positions and, getting the compound effect going. That's something that I'm doing to increase my current income. It's not tax advantaged, although capital gains and dividend income, distribution income, is technically taxed at a lower rate than regular, paycheck income from your job. So in a weird way, you can look at it as somewhat tax advantaged because you're paying, less money in taxes on investment income as opposed to job income. But it's not tax advantaged. It's not tax deferred or anything like that. You do pay taxes on a yearly basis, but it's something that I'm doing to increase my income just a little bit at a time. I make daily contributions. Once a week I'll take from my paycheck and I'll put a certain amount over there. That way I have enough to make daily contributions throughout the week while the market's open. And that's just what I like to do. So every day gets me a small millimeter closer, a small fraction, a small percent closer to my goal of just increasing my income. Because every day making a contribution technically does increase my income. So if I do that every single day that the market's open, approximately 250 days a year, that's 250 steps closer every single year. And in a weird way, you kind of give yourself a pay raise 250 times a year by making these contributions. Not to mention, through broad market index funds that see an average annual rate of return of about 8% a year, I'm not only increasing my income, but I'm beefing up my net worth. And then the snowball effect, or the compound effect, starts doing its thing, which beefs up your net worth even more and increases your income even more, because the dividends get reinvested into what just paid you, which means next pay period you're probably going to get paid even more than you did this time around. Next time around you reinvest again, which means the following pay period you're going to probably get paid even more than you did that time. And while your net worth is growing, it's just an incredible thing. That's something that I'm doing to increase my income. That's not necessarily for retirement. That's for right now. I want my income to go up. The savings account, that's not for long-term income growth. That's more so for the short term, while I'm still trying to figure out how I want to invest those dollars. Do I want to use it to roll into my next CD account? And then as for my CD account, I really just wanted to experiment with it and just kind of experience what it's all about. And so far, so good. I like it. Assuming that rates don't get completely slashed by the time my 11-month term is up, I fully intend on rolling into the next term. This one probably a little bit more lengthy, 12, maybe 18 months, depending on, a couple different things. But just want to try it out. And I'll probably take some from my savings account and use it to roll into my next CD account. But there's a couple of different ways you can go, but that's why I opened up the CD account in the first place. I really just wanted to try it out and experiment with it and experience it. I wanted to be able to talk about a CD account from experience. I wanted to be able to make a video like this and talk about why I opened it up in the first place, how my experience has been so far, and when I hit that maturity date, I'm almost certainly going to roll it over into a new account, assuming that I still get a solid interest rate. In my opinion, anything between 3 and 4% is really good. And when I saw 5%, I was like, oh my God. And right now, with the way things currently are, sure, you can't get 5%, but you can get between 4 and 5%. The ones, the next best APY that they have to offer at the moment is set 4.75. That's rock solid as well. I would have dove in if that was the original, limited time offer instead of 5%. 4.75, are you kidding me? I would have jumped on that as well. But they offered 5%, so I hopped on board. So next time around, if I can roll into a 12 or maybe 18-month term for, at the moment it's offered 4.75, but I would absolutely do it at 4.5. Honestly, I would do it at 4. If it's between 4 and 4.5%, I'll roll into a 12 to 18-month term. If I can get between 4 and 4.5%, or ideally even more, anywhere between 4 and 5%, I will absolutely roll into a new term. As for the savings account, it can fluctuate. It's been, I don't want to say it's been fluctuating for me, but my APY has changed, I believe, like 5 times in less than a year. I explained this in my savings account video. I opened up the account and it was offering 3%, which I thought that was pretty solid. I was like, all right, yeah, I'll take 3%. I'm only using it short term anyway, so it's not like I'm going to be, it's not like my plan is to earn 3% forever. I know that rates are going to go down eventually at some point anyway, but while I'm saving up for something, why not generate, 3% interest income? A couple weeks went by, they raised it to 3.25%, and then they raised it to 3.3, then 3.4. I stopped paying attention, and it was 3.75 next time I looked. And then a couple days ago, I looked again, it was 3.9. I was like, man, I got to make a video about this. I headed out the door, and my goal was to make a video about my 3.9% interest savings account. I pulled out my phone to take a screenshot of the account details, and I realized that between today and yesterday, they raised it to 4%. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, it can go up like that, but it can also go down as well. So savings accounts that, that can fluctuate. And while rates are high, sure, you can take home a decent, interest rate. But when rates go down or when rates get slashed, it might go from 4% down to like 2%. It might go down to 1%, 1.5%, or maybe even less than 1%, depending on a variety of different factors. That's a savings account for you. A CD account, you're locked in at the rate that you agreed on. Like, it's guaranteed. Like, they can't cut your rate on you. That just doesn't happen. CD account, guaranteed APY. Savings account, the APY here today, gone tomorrow. It can go up, it can go down, it can go sideways. It could just do whatever it wants. You're not guaranteed. You're not entitled to any specific amount. It's just the savings account. CD account, the pro is you're locked in at a certain rate. The con is that you can't withdraw without an early withdrawal fee. So for my CD account, only an 11-month term at 5%, and my plan at the moment, assuming that rates are where I would like them to be, my plan is to roll on over into a new one. I don't think there's any way in the world that I'm going to be able to get 5% again, but 4.75 at the moment is what they're offering for a 12 to 18 month term. I'd take that all day, any day. I'm not 100% confident that rates are going to be as high a couple months from now, or even like 6 months from now. By the time February rolls around, that's my maturity date, February 14th, I think. I don't believe rates are going to be as high as they are then as they are today. But if I can roll into an account 4% or higher, that's what I'll do. I'll take that. I'll take 4% all day. And I'll go with a slightly longer term than 11 months. I'll go with 12 to 18 months probably. Just see what happens. And my savings account, once again, I believe rates are going to be lower by the time we get to February. Here we are in June. We got a little bit of a ways to go. By the time we get to February, I personally believe rates are going to be lower. I think it's going to make a little bit more sense to get a mortgage and a business loan at that point then I think it would make more sense then than it will today. Then it makes sense today, if that makes sense. Because rates are higher right now. It's more expensive to borrow money. I believe by the time February rolls around, borrowing money will be cheaper. And as a result, savings accounts and CD accounts will probably offer lower rates. That's just the way it works. It's a seesaw. Well, rates going up is good for certain things. Rates going down, good for other things. The trick is just to be able to time it right. I know they say don't, try to time the market and stuff like that, and don't try to, time interest rates either, but take advantage of what you can while you can. That's the way I see it. When rates are high, take advantage, or consider taking advantage of a CD account. Consider taking advantage of a savings account, and use the savings account for something short-term focused. A savings account. It's in the name. Saving up for something that you want to buy. Saving up for something that you want to finance. Saving up for something that you want to invest in. Save, while rates are high, and then when rates go down, when rates get slashed, take the dollars that you saved plus the interest income that you earned and consider borrowing money for cheaper. Now that rates are lower, you saved and made money while rates were high. Now it's time to borrow money and invest money and earn money while rates are low. Or do that while rates are low so that you can earn more money. You just gotta play the game. That's what it is at the end of the day. It's a game. All this wind is probably screwing up my audio. Let me walk over here. That's what it is at the end of the day. It's a game. You just have to learn how to play it. You have to learn how to be strategic. You have to learn how to budget. You have to learn to basically treat yourself and treat your life like a business. That's what I've been doing I've been doing it. I've been thinking. I've had that business mindset for it's been 10 years since I started to really develop the way that I think today. It's just become more and more and more over time. But I remember being a kid and I had that entrepreneurial spirit. I remember walking around the neighborhood, knocking on doors. Hey, can I cut the grass? Hey, can I wash the windows? Hey, can I wash your car? Can I walk your dog? Can I rake the leaves? Can I shovel the snow? I was doing that as a kid. Funny enough, I was doing that as a kid so that I could save up money to buy a camera. Funny how we came around full circle. Here I am walking around filming. Saving up for a video camera as a child. Knocking on doors. I was doing door-to-door sales as a young kid. Wasn't even a teenager yet and I was doing that. And then starting around probably 9 or 10 years ago, I really started to study the art of entrepreneurship, develop much more of a business mindset. And as a result of learning that there is a different path and how to go down that path the right way, it slowly but surely made me treat my entire life like a business. So budgeting is really important to me. Everything that I do is really important to me because everything that I do, I have it almost down to a science. It comes down to even what I eat. I only try to eat healthier foods so that I feel better, because the better I feel throughout the day, the better I'm going to sleep at night, and the better I sleep at night, the better I'm going to feel waking up in the morning, the more energy I'm going to have in the morning, and I could just take action earlier in the day than I would ordinarily be able to if I was still, half asleep by, 10, 11 a.m. I've been at work for a couple of hours and I'm still, nodding off. No. 4 a.m. wake up. I'm like, time to go. I can take action quicker. I can think more clearly. I can make better decisions. I'm more focused. I'm ready to go in a moment's notice. Doesn't matter what time of the day it is. It's always time to go. It's always time to hustle. And as a result, I've been able to do more. I've been capable of taking on more of a workload. I've been able to put my head down, plow through, and accomplish more than I would have been able to several years ago, because I've changed my lifestyle and designed my lifestyle to having more energy to do these things. And the more energy I have to do these things, the more things I can actually get done. And the more things I get done, as a result, maybe I earn a little bit more money because I'm working a little bit harder, or I'm working a little bit more, And the more money you make, the more money you have to save. And the more money you have to save, compounded with reducing your expenses to the bare minimum. So you're earning more money, you're spending less money, you're saving more money, and now that you have more money saved, you have more money to invest, and the more money that you invest, the more money you make. I discovered this over the course of the last 9 or 10 years, and even more so over the last 3 or 4. Ever since I started investing, like true investing, and understanding the power of investing, and understanding why they don't teach these things in school. It's because the teachers don't even know what it is. You know, if I'm a student, if I'm a kid, if I'm like a teenager in high school, and I don't learn about these things, I'm going to enter the world not knowing these things. I'm going to go my whole life not knowing these things. If I decided to become a teacher, I'm going to become a teacher not knowing these things. How am I supposed to teach the kids about these things, about things that I don't even know about? That's why it's not taught in school. Because you can't teach something that you have no idea exists. Parents, it's the same way. They grow up and have kids. They don't know that this is a path you can take. They have no idea. If you don't know these things, you're not going to be able to teach these things. Which is why I said a couple times throughout this video, one of the reasons I wanted to open up a CD account is so I can talk about my experience with CD accounts. I'll be able to tell people later on down the road that I caught a limited time offer of 5% 11-month term on the last day that I had the option of diving in, and I dove in. And then 11 months had gone by, and maybe I rolled into an account for still a high APY, or maybe I chose not to if rates were too low for me. I'll be able to talk about these things. But I learned that that's why these things aren't taught in school. That's why people are so financially illiterate. That's why people have no idea. It's because we're taught, oh, borrowing money's so scary. Taking on debt's a bad thing. We were told that all debt is bad debt. That's wrong. That's a lie. It's not true. Some debt is bad debt. Some debt is good debt. We were told that investing is scary. You don't want to risk your money. You don't want to take risks. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. Stock market's it's a terrible, horrible thing. It blows my mind how people say, oh, the stock market's all completely fake. The numbers are fake. Yet these are the same people that are picking up silver and gold. And, they don't want to say that, the spot price numbers are fake. But the stock market numbers are fake? No. It's either all fake or none of it's fake. We were taught that investing is scary, or that we shouldn't invest. We were taught that we shouldn't take out business loans. Oh, you don't want to start a business. That's too risky. You want to get a safe, secure job, which yes, you should do. You should absolutely get a safe, secure job and invest the money that you make from that safe, secure job. Use that safe, secure job to fund the quote-unquote risky decisions. Use that safe, secure job to invest. Use that safe, secure job to build something up for yourself outside of your job. Get yourself to the point where you're making, part-time income passively in addition to your full-time active income job. Imagine making $60,000 a year by working every single day, but you're making an additional $30,000 a year without working at all. You're making $90,000, but you're only putting in $60,000 a year worth of work. Imagine that. Imagine making a whole part-time job paycheck without working a part-time job. You're only working your full-time job. You're getting paid for it, but you're making more money passively. Or imagine making just as much passive income as you do at work. Imagine making $60,000 a year, but you're making an additional $60,000 a year passively, $120,000 a year when your job is only giving you $60,000. Imagine that. They don't teach this in school. The teachers don't know how to teach it in school because the teachers don't even know how to do it in the first place. Parents don't teach their kids about this stuff because the parents don't know how to do it. It's not understood. This is not common knowledge. This doesn't come naturally. This is stuff that you have to learn. This is something that's almost like tucked away and hidden to an extent. Hidden in plain sight. Investing or playing the game when rates go up and rates go down. Oh, what do you do when rates are up? That's probably the time to park the cash, at least temporarily, into a high yield savings account, or lock it up in a CD account at a high rate. And by the time you hit that maturity date, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, when rates are lower, then it's time to take that cash, the cash that you put in the first place, plus the interest that you generated from the high yield. Take that cash, get a business loan, mortgage for a rental property potentially. Just an idea. Now that rates are lower, you can borrow money for cheaper and use that borrowed money, leverage it, and earn money. There are so many different ways you can go, so many different ideas, so many different ways to play the game. The problem is most people don't know that there's a game to be played. That's the only issue here. And like I said before, one way you can go about doing this, and there's so many different ways you can go, the easiest, cheapest, or I shouldn't say cheapest, but the one way you can go that requires like the smallest amount of currency, because you don't need tens and tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest, or you don't have to buy a whole $300,000 house or spend $15,000 for a business. You don't have to worry about that. You can get started with just a couple of bucks, $10, $5, $100, whatever makes sense to you, and begin investing, like broad market index funds or your favorite company's stock, for example. There are so many different ways you can go. I do this on a daily basis, and I do it through a Roth IRA on a weekly basis on Webull. If you download Webull and fund your account, they're going to give you up to 12 free fractional shares just for doing so. You could deposit as little as a penny. It still works. It still counts. You still get your up to 12 free fractional shares. And this month, for the month of June, they have a promo going on. If you refer 6 friends, they're going to give you a total of $1,000 cash to invest however you'd like. Your first referral gets you 20, your second gets you 40, your third gets you 60, your fourth gets you 100, your fifth gets you 300, and your sixth gets you $480 for a grand total of $1,000 cash to invest however you want to invest it. That's $1,000 you can invest for free, plus however much cash you choose to invest out of pocket. And you can start generating passive income. You can start beefing up your net worth, parking dollar bills, parking currency into an asset. Real world assets with intrinsic value, with fundamental value, real things. Some of the most valuable brands on the planet, world-changing companies, all bundled up into an index fund. In my opinion, that's the best way to go. I believe it's better to go with a broad market index fund than it is to go for individual stocks, because management can screw something up if you put all your eggs in one basket, or all your eggs in a small basket, or all your eggs in a few baskets, I should say. I think that's the way to go. Broad market index funds. The S&P 500, for example, I'm not going to tell you to invest in it, but that is my favorite index fund. That's one that I invest in on a daily basis, a very, very small contribution every single day, Monday through Friday, as long as the market's open. And my goal is to eventually get the S&P 500 to make up 40% of my entire account. So that's my plan, that's my goal, and I'm sticking to it. And you can do that as well. You can do something similar as well. You don't have to invest on a daily basis like I do. You can invest weekly, monthly, yearly, or just whenever you can, whenever you're able to. You don't have to invest large amounts of currency to get started. A lot of people see something, like let's just say, like I'll use the S&P just as an example, with an average annual rate of return of 8% adjusted for inflation already, closer to 10% with inflation not taken into account. 8% adjusted for inflation on average. Some years you're going to have more, some years you're going to have less, but it all averages out to 8% every single year. So if you put $100 in and you get that average annual rate of return, a year from now, that $100 should be worth close to $108 with a dividend yield of about 1.5%, which means by the time a year goes by, you should have roughly $108 with your S&P 500 position, and it should be paying you about $1.50 annually just for owning it. So you're making money in two different ways. One on paper, because your net worth is going up, and one through a cash payment, dividend income. And if you reinvest that back in, you started with $100 and now you're looking at $109.50. That's the power of dividend income investing. That's the power of dividend growth investing. That's the power of the compound effect and broad market index funds. Now, of course, you don't have to go with the S&P 500. You can go a variety of different ways. You don't even have to go with stocks. But if you want to, I like Webull. That's what I use. That's my stock trading app preference. That's my stock trading app of choice. Now, I don't trade stocks. All I do is invest. There are a small number of individual stocks that I am currently building up positions with, but for the most part, I'm focused on broad market index funds. And when an individual stock pays me a cash dividend, I reinvest it right back in, plus sometimes a little bit more. If it didn't pay me enough to buy a whole share, I'll add some more out of pocket just to, round it up a little bit and, keep that snowball rolling, obviously. Multiple snowballs rolling, collecting snow, because the faster the snowball rolls, the more snow it collects. The more snow it collects, the bigger it gets. The bigger it gets, the faster it rolls. And coming around full circle, the faster it rolls, the more snow it collects once again. And then, of course, once again, the more snow it collects, the bigger it gets and the faster it rolls. And that's the compound effect. That's what the compound effect is. Synonymous with the snowball effect. That's the power of it. So once again, we will link in the description if that's something that you want to do, if that's something that you're interested in, if that's something that you want to get started, link in the description. But that's why it's not taught. You can't teach something that you don't know. And we have teachers. Teachers by profession, and just teachers as in adults whose, job it is to teach their children about the world and stuff like that. You have, teachers by profession, and we have parents, and we have, guardians, step-parents, aunts, uncles, and stuff like that. We have people that don't even know that there is a game to be played. So how are they going to teach the kids how to grow up and play the game in a smart way, in an efficient way, in an effective way, in a productive way? It's not possible. That's why nobody knows how to play the game. It's because they don't know that there's even a game to be played. So anyway, went off on a little bit of a tangent there. I know this video has primarily been about the CD account, but anyway, that's the CD account that I use, a bank that will remain nameless. It's very easy to figure out which one I'm talking about. I just don't want to be like, hey, go with this bank, use this bank, do whatever with this bank. Very easy to figure it out with a quick Google search, but that's my CD account. Just opened it up in March, a couple months ago. 5% APY, locked in with an 11-month term. My maturity date will be in February of 2024, and at this time, my plan is to roll over into a new CD account as long as the interest, the APY, as long as it makes sense. If it's less than 3%, I don't believe that's something that would make sense to me. I want it to be somewhere between 4 and 5%, preferably. But I guess we'll figure that out in February. I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. CD accounts. Everyone's familiar with savings accounts. Everybody knows what a savings account is. Not a lot of people are familiar with CD accounts. Certificate of deposit. Locking in a specific amount of money for a specific amount of time with a specific guaranteed APY or interest rate. Have you ever had a CD account? Do you currently have a CD account? Maybe you're using the same one I'm using. Have you ever rolled into a new one upon your maturity date? If so, or if not, what are your general overall thoughts on CD account? Good way to go? Bad way to go? Maybe you're indifferent about it? Let me know in the comments. If you guys like today's video, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel, for bonus videos on top of all the videos that you're getting on my main channel. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. Got t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, coffee mugs, and a bunch of different designs, all different colors, many of which are helping raise some funds and awareness for different charity organizations. So I'd appreciate the support. Try out some G Fuel Energy Formula, $5 off your first order by clicking the link in the description. This right here is Snow Cone, the flavor Snow Cone. It's what I'm declaring flavor of the month for June 2023. It's absolutely delicious. It's in my top 5. Get $5 off your first order by clicking the link in the description. Sugar-free, low-calorie, packed with a whole bunch of vitamins, and most importantly, it tastes incredible. Link in the description. And last but certainly not least, as I said before, if you want to get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account, hop on the opportunity. It doesn't matter how much you deposit. You can deposit as little as a penny. It still works. It still counts. You still get your up to 12 free fractional shares. And every month they have a new promo going on. This month's promo for June 2023, you only have a couple weeks left to maximize or capitalize on this. If you refer 6 friends, they're going to give you a total of $1,000 cash to invest however you'd like. Your first referral gets you 20, second gets you 40, third gets you 60, fourth gets you 100, fifth gets you 300, and your sixth gets you $480 for a grand total of $1,000 to once again invest however you want. This is time sensitive. Yes, every month they have a new promo going on, but for this particular promo, you want to make the most of it so that you can walk away earning this. And then when we move into July and there's a new promo going on, you can get into that as well. You don't want to wait, I'm going to see, maybe the next one. No, get in now. Take advantage now. Make the most of what they have to offer. Get it. It's free. It's part of their advertising budget. A lot of people say, oh, it's not free. Free doesn't exist. Free comes from somewhere. Yeah, it comes from their advertising budget. They don't waste dollars on all these TV commercials and billboards and all this nonsense. They reward the user for helping them build the app with them. That's where it comes from. But for us, it's given to us for free. Link in the description. And of course, I want you guys to head on down in the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. When it comes to CD accounts, a certificate of deposit, a locked-in specific amount of dollar bills for a specific amount of time for a very specific guaranteed interest rate. What are your thoughts on CD accounts? Is it something that you've ever tried out? Is it something that you've always avoided? Is it something that you're not really familiar with? And maybe this video taught you a thing or two about CD accounts. Maybe it's something that you'll take into consideration. Maybe you learned about them from this video and you've come to the conclusion that, okay, yeah, I understand a little bit more now, but it's not for me. Head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to CD accounts and your thoughts on them. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next one. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.